Okay, recap for Tuesday, the 10th of March, 2026. So today was a questionable day, right? Well, it was expected to be a questionable kind of high resistance liquidity run garbage day, right? Because many reasons, right? Let's just dash few. First, Monday had a large range, right? Both downside, sell side delivery, and buy side delivery. On top of that, we have a no news, genuinely no news Tuesday, right? That lays down before CPI, right? So there was two ways this day was gonna run. It was one, we're gonna this London high had to be what do you call it? It has to be a high that makes sense, right? One. So we don't have to take it. And if it was a high that made sense, then New York would open up somewhere here or something, right? And then continue the London trend by grinding its way slowly, right, into the discount of this area or the discount of this whole range when it was the London high, right, would be here. But it would have to be a high around there. So the discount would be up here, making relative equal lows. And then the PM session, rather than dumping today, would come pump us back in the range. Scenario two, which was this, where we'd basically accumulate for the whole day, right? Neither going low or high, really, right? Because look, from this high, we haven't gone much higher, and from midnight open low, we didn't even really get to even midnight. So we were just basically gonna work inside the range, okay? So let me show my trades and my thought process going to the day, right? So just looking at London high at the time, right then, that's London high. Yes, the high sweeps this, but once we have CPI, we want we want to set the stage for like some sort of trap, right? And normally we do that by creating like if we're gonna take it, like let's say like I'm expecting bearish CPI, as in we're gonna go up with CPI but actually be bearish when we open on the market or open, right? So like post 9:30 we basically bearish, or like 10 whatever the distribution, right? Because treat the news as manipulation. So I do expect the manipulation to be higher, and if I expect the manipulation to be higher, I want today to set up the stage to make relative equal highs with these highs, okay? So that's why I thought London high is a bit too low to make sense for a run up, right? Because we either have to make relative equal highs with this or preferably take it and even go like into the wick, right? So that's why I'm going to have the rejection block marked, which was used right there to send price higher. So I'm looking at us sweeping this high, right? That's number one. Number two, in terms of short, and let's just play like devil's advocate, right? That okay, that high is enough, and we're gonna just launch through. I'm watching like the internal structure. We broke this 1 hour fair value gap, right? As in close below it. And while this was the market open one, we wick above, but I'm trying to make sure that once we close at 10, we are below it, and that would lead us to visit this gap, right? Again, right? And if we're gonna be bearish and we're gonna have this scenario where we go to discount, this next candle has to come and close below this fair value gap. And then after that, it could do whatever regardless. It will come to discount after that, visiting this and filling this, preferably going to the order block, right? So I guess now that's the narrative. We can't really tell anything on the daily and the 4 hour because it's just absolute garbage, right? Um, other than that, let's get to like the lower time frame and just explain stuff since market open. So in terms of liquidity, regardless of we're going up or down, I don't care, right? Because I just want the quickest, easiest trade and then get out because I know this day is most likely going to be garbage, right? And as you can see, there's only one good run to the buy side. After that, it's just even the short was kind of garbage. But yeah, so let's put the lipstick on the chart and let's explain what everything is, especially at market open. 9:30, we go up into buy side liquidity. Right here wouldn't be obvious, but if you go into regular trading hours, it'll be an obvious PM session high that we take out. So I'm looking at two things, right? We take this out and then we could take this out, right? If London's high gonna stay intact, we're most likely gonna take this out as well, right? And then we'll have two stages of relative equal highs, this and then the higher time frame one by taking this and then getting close somewhere here. But nothing in terms of PD arrays made sense. So I was like, okay, even even if I'm bear what I'm saying, the price is gonna go higher. I do expect this to at least take one sell side liquidity. And as you can see, we have one, two, three, and four sell side liquidities mark. I'm not looking for all of them because that would mean we are definitely short. But because I'm not fully convinced, I'm trying to seek just one short, get to the low, midnight open the TP, and after that price you can do whatever you want. I could not care less. The probabilities are low, right? Because we don't take this high, right? We don't take this high. By this high taking this buy side liquidity on the PM, this makes the 9:30 candle, right? One of the conditions that it is the first presented fair value gap for me personally to take for today, right? So I'm waiting on these garbage days with no news. I typically wait for the 950 macro. So I don't care about anything down here. Yes, we went below it. As you can see, it's not time yet. So we do go above it to visit. I mean, you could see this as the first presented if you wanted, but whatever, right? And then now, once it's 950, once we go below it again, and mainly because I'm expecting that we're gonna go below it, right? I don't expect us to go to the highs now. I'm watching this SIBI that's holding us. The second that we close below it, right? Next candle wake up, right? I do have my limit on this basically mitigation block, right? Stop loss at the high and TP at the low. As you can see, we go all the way to the low, and I do expect these kind of type of retracement. That's why I didn't go break even um, in this trade until like this dump, right? Because I do expect kind of some high resistance to get to the lows. Anyway, once we get to the low, we make an basically exact relative equal lows right there, and we don't take the midnight open. That confused me, right? Because yes, ES made the SMT or whatnot, but the SMT was kind of ages ago. It was like in this. I really, really expected this to be taken out, and me trying to force something that is not. I don't know. Like at this point, when price went here, I basically knew the trade was dead, right? And I was just hovering over the close button. But it's like some sort of ego to like want to be right over actually making money, right? There's not much of a difference between this and hitting the TP. It's the fact that I went for like the first easiest TP and it still didn't hit, right? That's what kind of pissed me off to the point that I let the trade and watched it go straight back to break even. Even though at this point I knew exactly it's gonna do this. I knew it. Like I had that gut feeling. I knew it. I was like, I was wrong, but I didn't want to admit that to myself, and I just let it just hit me at break even. Even though this is good enough, it doesn't have to hit midnight open. This is good enough, right? So I lose that trade, and if I was, I mean, not lose, break even that trade, and if I'm just like normal right? I wait for this. Let's say I was leaning more bullish or whatever. I would wait for all of this. Once we close above the first presented, I'm taking midpoint most likely to try and catch or like the high of this order block. Stop loss at this low, and I would take it all the way to London high, right? Because I can see both sides, right? Like at the initial of the market, I can see that we're gonna either go like this then down, or we're gonna go down then up. But the fact that we stopped at midpoint or like half of the move, then went down and then went up, is what kind of pissed me off. That's why I didn't even come back to take this long trade, even though it's obvious. But it was just like it's gonna validate 100% I'm wrong. I need to fix that ego issue or whatever it is that I have to be right, because I don't have to be right, and these markets are hard right now, right? So why do I don't know why I have this self expectation or whatever to be the right. Anyway, once we go to London high, doesn't mean instantly short, right? Because we still kept these relative equal lows. I do expect price to gravitate towards them, right? Until like it's proven otherwise. I'm expecting that. So that comes to the second trade. I wait, right? I was like, if it's a garbage AM and I know the PM is gonna be good, right? So this is the rejection block, which also, if you remember, it lines up with that high at I believe the 5th of March, right? It's not the highest high, but it's the high that will, after taking it, will make relative equal highs, right? So I had this on the quadrants marked. It just barely misses the lower quadrant and just zooms down. So if you can see on launch, and this is just the Reaper, right, on the 15-minute. As you can see, the Reaper here that I'm expecting, once price goes up, it's gonna come down to discount to it. You can see, and then it's gonna pump back up in a very garbage way, but it sure did it, right? Once we hit that rejection block slash the high, right, and we clearly sweep it. Look at the time, 1:30, start of PM. What do we do? I don't take this, right? I'm just watching. Normally, if I didn't break even or like just kind of have a bad feeling about my trade early or whatever, I'd probably take this short, right? I'd probably take it from this high. But I was like, you know what? Let me wait for more confirmation. We go in, right? Invest this gap, boom, and we go to the low. In itself, well, no, I don't want to say that. Anyway, we go to the low, basically breaking the structure if you want to say it, but it's a market structure shift if you see it. And if this starts staying lies, it is exactly the 2022 model. You take a high market structure shift, then what you're looking at the 50% of this range, right? So 50%, where's the fair value gap? Right there, right? I was using the inverse mainly to confirm, and I just didn't want no closures above it. But at the same time, you can use this to basically enter, right? I'm not gonna enter on the 5 minute. That's just wild for me. Anyway, we create this run with this mini fair value gap. I see a retracement. We go up, then we invest this, right? No, I did actually enter way before that. Once we fill the last gap, and I see that we're actually holding it, and this comes down below that um inverse basically. I take the short here, right? It's close proximity, stop loss at the mean threshold of this, and yeah, I let it run basically. It consolidated and consolidated, and then it went lower, right? See, the only problem is my main targets are this low, right? Lunch low, because PM in this case is gonna seek lunch low. If it felt like it, it would go and seek that low. However, tomorrow we have CPI. So I gave it the chance, right? What I'm looking for is us to get below the first presented fair value gap. Okay. Not this time, because this is an expected retracement. But once we do the retracement, and as you can see, we're holding the upper half, and finally we go to invest the Reaper basically. The last hit, we hit it, and then we go below, I'm watching now the bodies closing mainly inside it, but preferably below the midpoint. And we're working our way to it, then we close above midpoint. I knew it could go lower again, but it's losing the signatures. Why am I waiting for this time? Because I'm waiting for 315, right? Final hour macro. Once it's 315 right there, we hit this and we go down. Now I can drag my stop loss down. I put my stop loss at here, comes down, goes up, stop loss, right? Because now I know we within time. This whole accumulation is because we're not in within time. Once we hit time, now I know if I should behave how it should behave. Once we go below, right? This could have hit, this could have hit, whatever. This closed and I just didn't like it. So that's why I closed my position once we got to the midpoint. I mean, it was more than enough, basically catching 167 points or what, so somewhat like that. So yeah, I'm not too, you know, happy about everything because I should have been done here, and I hated the waiting part of all of this. It's annoying. It's cool that I can catch the show or whatever, but like I should have been done here. This is technically outside my trading hours, but yeah. I guess that's yeah the market recap. Anyway, for tomorrow, my expectations, and I could be wrong, right? I gotta say that right now so I can set up my mind. Say, yo, if you see something against you, like just change with the market, adapt. What I expect for tomorrow is now that we create the relative equal highs for this manipulation, is that tomorrow we come up and take these relative equal highs. If these lows stay intact, right? These laws are crucial. If they stay intact and CPI comes and manipulates tomorrow, I'm 100% looking for shorts to these lows. Well, this would help, but I'm 100% looking for shorts for these lows as like a guaranteed kind of a TP, right? If not, and it's just it somehow goes lower CPI, then I'm guessing I'm looking for longs, but I'll be a bit wary, but I'll still be looking for longs. So yeah, just treat whatever CPI does as the manipulation, and I'm looking to fade that basically. In terms of one case that it creates some sort of expansion fair value gap and is holding it, right? So there is rules to it. There is a lot of, and you can't really tell until it happens, right? Because the whole market structure could change overnight, and all of what I said is just useless, absolute garbage. We could take all these lows. We could go all the way to discount that we should have done for today. We could do everything overnight, and you're gonna have to reanalyze the whole thing. But anyway, that's the market recap. Peace out.